And we're on the air. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be in this bright, wonderful world we call home. Damn it. I forgot I had this
That's
on.
not what I call the world.
Mute. We call home. So we have Jeff J.S. Earls here once again with us. We're gonna it's just a chat. It's just a hangout. I'm gonna let him shill his book, The Cry. But other than that, we're really just chilling. I'm doing some work and I was inking and I was like, I might as well be talking to somebody. So, Jeff, welcome. And back to the technical difficulties with Jeff. All right. While Jeff figures out his problems, Chester Busby, what is my policy on letting people shill on my chat? I generally block it. So yeah, use your own discretion. Yes, we want Edwin. We want Edwin. I'll send Edwin a link if he wants to bop in and out or whatever. He's probably busy. I'm sure it's a beautiful afternoon in Hawaii. But it's always a blessing to have Edwin and his cool melodic voice drop into the stream. Edwin Boyer. Come on down if you care to. Otherwise, get back to here and get back to here and try to find, where did I put my live thing? Okay, there it is. Hold on, Jeff just emailed me. All right. Please, guys, donate to my Patreon. I don't want to work. That's one way to pitch it. So, John Piner, what's up? Anybody got any? Oh, here. Gosh, I guess you guys have been on here for a while. 218. Ooh, sorry. Yeah. Jeff got on and he's like, his computer wanted him to reinstall stuff after I'd already sent him the link, and so I've been sitting here, and I apologize for how long it has taken. But thanks for being here. For those of you who've been here this entire time, sorry. Hope you had something else on in the background. You guys are talking about Edwin chatting with Tim. Hey, guys. You can be quiet, or you can leave. How's that? As long as you dance with Ethan's laughing man, he'll be okay. Hello, Squadron. Hello, Edwin. Edwin isn't in the house. Where is Edwin? I don't see him in the chat. Am I missing something? Oh, Jeff just bumped out. Sierra Whiskey, yo, Aloha Squadron. Good afternoon, Steve, Jay, Chester, Popefire, Bootsy, Sierra Whiskey, Lux Max Nike. That's always such a hard one to. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, if you know what I'm saying. Aloha, voice of reason, Edwin Boyett. Please turn the volume down. It is blocked. He blocks, smacks them, and mails them violent content. So everyone, well, all the regulars are here. I've got my regulars. Actually, a couple people are missing, but that's okay. We thought you were looking for your booster box. No.
Hey.
I hear a Jeff. We have Jeff.
We have thunderstorms too, so.
Florida. Jay Lucen says, you know, we could make a drinking game for every time Mike tells his kids to be quiet.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, that's the world I live in. So You don't like it? Sorry.
Of course, you could make a drinking game out of how many times other people should tell their kids to be quiet, but don't.
Very true. And you would be a very, very drunk individual. So Jeff Earls, I don't know if my volume is Jeff too loud, or is it just my headset, guys? 'Cause if
Hello,
he's too loud,
hello.
I can turn him down if he's too loud, but I can turn him down right here if it's just my headset. All okay? Okay, I'll just turn him down right there. All right. Say hello, hello again.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh no, now Mike's gonna do acting too.
Why you gotta hate, man? Why you gotta hate? I bring you on here. I bring you on here to shill your wares, and you get right into it. Jeff, for those who are new, why don't you introduce yourself? Give us your bio.
My bio is that I was a slave for Mike Miller for. No.
We really preferred indentured servant.
No, let's see. I am a professional writer. I really got started writing for some local things, for some actually music magazines and stuff, because I was in a band for about 10 years, and we played all over the state.
The state of
Florida. You already said Florida. Sorry,
oh, yeah.
I know.
Sorry.
Well, technically, I've lived in about 5 different states, so could be many different ones. But yeah, and I had really started writing a lot of stories around then, as far as semi-professionally, and getting really serious and really studying a lot. And I will say, I'll just throw this out there for people that whether they want to draw or whether they want to write, just do what you can with the little time that you have, and make the most of it. Because when I got started and was really doing a bunch of different things professionally, like most people can't, unless you're independently wealthy, you can't just jump in and just totally make career changes or whatever. So you really have to make use of the time that you have. And I mean, there was a lot of time when I only had like 45 minutes a day, because I was working so much as a orthodontic lab tech. And I literally only had about 45 minutes a day on my lunch break to write while I was eating. But honestly, that really teaches you to make the most of the time you had. And like I couldn't get a I couldn't sit there and just dwell on why I can't figure this thing out for this story or for this, like, whatever. It's like, you just got to get it done. I mean, because that's kind of the part of being professional. You just have to, you have to do it. And and I just say that because there's a lot of people who will make up excuses or say things or say, I only have, half an hour, an hour a day where I could do stuff. Then just do that, because one of the great things about that is it really teaches you how to use your time as wisely and effectively as you can. And it gets you into a mode where you're creating very quickly, which is what publishers and people want. They don't want people that are talented that can do a phenomenal picture in a month. They want people who can do stuff fast and meet deadlines and meet schedules. And Mike can, if he has not already talked about it, that's one of the things that he really became known for, was how on time and on schedule he was at cranking out quality in a short amount of time.
How's a hack?
Yeah, and a hack. I mean, the bad thing is, and Mike will also tell you that then you get asked to do a million different things and fill in and help with for a bunch of different people, and there can be a bad side to that. But I mean, the bad side is not going to be that you don't have work to do and that you're not getting stuff out there. So
no, you're just selling your soul for the deadline.
Yeah, to make money for other people, but.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, but that's, but then you can, get to these points where you're actually creating your own stuff with Kickstarter and Indiegogo and things like that. And I think so many, I mean, I think it's great that so many people are able to do this stuff now, and make these transitions to doing their own things and things that they have wanted to do. Because I mean, that's, it's important to be, especially as a creator and as, once you've gotten, I mean, you should always be learning and improving, but
it is a whole new world.
Yeah.
It's a whole new, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, I've got my glasses on. I don't know, my eyes have been bugging out lately, so
yeah.
So yes. All right. Now that we know who you are, although you went from bio to
I know
lessons by Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to finish your bio? How, you know what? I'm forgetting right now how we met exactly.
Yeah, it was basically from Pistol Fist, from me submitting my Pistol Fist comic, the
okay.
American Revolution superhero thing. Right. Well, you know what? And that's actually a great. I'm gonna be big life lessons here. This is TED Talks with Jeff and Mike. But what's funny is I actually, when I got to the point where I was having different publishers kind of interested in some of my stuff, and they were looking for new things and new ideas and stuff like that. And I was having some other friends who had broken in and gotten in further than I had at that point. I'm not talking about you. Don't make that face.
No, somebody said I look like Dean Cain.
Oh, nice. Well, I don't know that that's totally bad, but
it's not. I do have to buy a Superman outfit just for that, though.
Yeah,
I'll be the Superman after after the Superman returns.
Yeah,
he has the long hair.
That would be good. You gotta shave the sides though.
Not gonna happen.
Come
on.
He
pretty much had a mullet. That was so embarrassing.
Yeah,
I was embarrassed for him, and he's a fictional person.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right, sorry, I derailed your.
No, well, I was just gonna say the great thing is because I was so used to having to do things so quickly that there were like a couple different publishers that had asked me to send them a list of like 10 to 15 different projects or things that I was working on or had developed. And Pistol Fist was like number 12 or something.
Really?
Yeah, like I mean, all I had written down was superhero set in American Revolution. So, I mean, some of the things like I had these really long synopsises for, some of the things I had some pages for, even like, artwork and other things that other people had done. And then but I just kept putting down all the different things.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the thing. They had like 3 different publishers. Like, we want to know more about this. And I was like, that's all there is to it. I didn't say that, but I was just like, okay, I got to go to the library and start doing a lot of research. Although, I mean, I was actually fairly well versed because, like I said, I was working really long hours and I was working in an orthodontic lab. So I would listen to audiobooks and things. And I had actually just been listening to several different books by Jeff Shara, however you say his name, on the American Revolution. And so I had pretty good ideas about at least the setting and everything. It was just a matter of, picking out the characters exactly and everything else like that. So,
and isn't that funny? Like when you're watching something like that, like all the ideas that come to you while you're like, oh man, what if this happened? Oh, what if this happened? Or like there'll be some point of a plot that you're like expecting to happen,
right?
But it doesn't happen, and you're like, wow, if that actually did happen, then you just go off this complete tangent and make this whole other story. I mean, there's so many different things that can become seeds for story and writing that it's unlimited,
Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And it's, yeah, that you, especially the things that intrigue you, and then they don't go into it, or they don't pay it off, and it's like, like that's what would have made this
Yeah.
really good movie, as opposed to a sci-fi channel movie.
Yeah, it's like, man, you had a great idea and then you failed to follow through, so I'm gonna steal it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if I don't know how often I've actually thought or said that, but but definitely, it's more, it's funny because I do like supporting my fellow creators and stuff, and it does get me upset when people squander opportunities that they have a great idea, and it just doesn't totally like pan out, and it's like, it was right there.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and you had the seed, like you had the foundation for what, and then you like got off the foundation, and it's like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
It's funny. I'll actually I'll stop paying attention to a movie. Like it'll still be running and it'll be in front of my face, but I'll be like off in my own imagination, imagining where it should go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then you just shake your head when they. It's like no.
Creative minds are funny that way. We entertain ourselves when something's too boring.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the way, and I think that's why so many things like the way this movie should have ended and stuff like that are so
how it should have been
popular, because so many people feel that way.
Yeah.
And I think, and really, I think that the audiences are a lot smarter nowadays too, as far as they're so used to all these different things and all these cliches, and
yes, they are sophisticated now, and that's part of the reason why I don't have my characters running around in tights.
Yeah,
I think the audience for superhero genre stuff is so sophisticated now that they're not going to buy that. They're not going to just buy some character showing up out of the blue wearing spandex, unless it makes sense to the character. Like Superhero G. I'm going to bring Superhero G into the Blacklist universe.
Right.
He's the creation of a child.
Right.
Imagining a superhero. So yes, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
But for like Lone Star to like slap on some spandex and go fight crime. No.
What where you have that the one kind of throwback cover thing that you did?
Yeah.
Would you ever have that would you ever do a version where he had that kind of thing if it was set in the past?
You like that costume, don't you?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, you don't like it? Thanks a lot.
I like it.
Dude, you can't. You're in a box.
I can't
win.
You
can't win here. You can't.
You're like a female.
I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you, and then I'd have to hunt down all the 94 people watching, and I'd have to kill them, and then the cops would come get me, and then my career would be over. And I'm sorry.
I just want to see if you have like a full back tattoo that you're like a Yakuza.
I have a back tattoo that's about this big. It says Kyodai. Just brothers Japanese.
Is it a tramp stamp?
No, it's right here. It's a bro stamp, man.
It's a bro stamp.
It's for my bros. Yeah, me and gosh, how many of us got it? Let's see, it was my brother, John, Brian, Brendan. I think that's it. I think that's all. I got like 5 of us got it because we were brothers.
Yeah.
And then so the only one I still really talk to is my brother. But we both have it, so we are brothers.
Yeah. Tattoos are funny that way.
Aren't tattoos against the Bible? Yes and no. Tattoos that are referred to in the Bible were people marking themselves in worship to other gods.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. I got this tattoo when I was 18, not when I was a Christian.
Oh, you know what?
What's Ramens on my shirt? Ramens, man. Ramens. You know what? What?
Oh, I was gonna say that I just and this yeah, like I'm on here to promote my podcast, but a discussion that we actually recently had, because I do have a biblical archaeology podcast called The Bible Dig.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with my with a buddy of mine.
You should have called it Digging the Bible.
No, nope.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's marketing.
We go there with some of that stuff. We get a little silly with some
How
stuff.
How about the Bible? Dig it.
Dig it. Hey, we have our announcer guy at the end of every episode say, "When in doubt, just get diggy with it." So we go there. We eat the corn a little. But what I was going to say is that for those who don't know and are Christians and stuff, in Egypt, where they're the Coptic Christians there that are definitely in the minority, they when they
because they're all freaking here now, man.
Yeah.
There's so many Coptic Christians in Spring Valley where I live.
Yeah,
it's like.
Well, the ones. Well, and I mean, I guess it depends on what like what age they were or whatever but most Coptic Christians in Egypt, when they become a Christian, they get a cross tattooed on their wrist.
Oh, really?
Yep. And they so they're like, just when you make that decision, like, you're in for life. Like,
have you made your decision for Christ?
So, which you got to imagine, it's like, man, especially just with the Islamics in control so much of Egypt, it's like, man, you're just asking for it. It's like saying,
or be burning. Yeah. Pope Fire for $2. Ask Jeff who his favorite Titan is. Jeff?
Oh my gosh, again? I'll say because it's funny, because I've been like a fan of the Titans, like so many different versions of them throughout the years, that and there's specific storylines, and I know we got into that a little bit. If I had to say, I'd probably say Beast Boy, just because I think his power is cool, and it's a good thing he's kind of stupid, because otherwise he would be super powerful. And he doesn't always make the best decisions. Sometimes he just makes the funny decision or whatever.
And he's a sap.
Yeah. I mean, he's it's cool. Because a lot of times with a lot of those characters, they're kind of one thing or the other. And it's like, no, it's like, he is like funny and everything, but he also has a power that's just like pretty awesome.
You remember Dobie Gillis?
Yep.
He's Maynard.
Maynard, yeah.
He's Maynard G. Krebs, man.
Yep.
Somebody pointed out that Dobie Gillis is what was it? Scooby-Doo? So Maynard was Shaggy.
Oh, wow.
Dobie was
in the movie. Yeah. Or the
no. I mean, they how they based the Simpsons off the Honeymooners,
right?
Not the Simpsons, the Flintstones.
Yeah.
Basically, they stole Dobie Gillis's whole cast and made Scooby-Doo.
Wow.
So,
I was just gonna say, who did they base do you know who they based the Jetsons on? Was that a totally original, or did they base that on something?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up or think about it. I don't want to stop and think because I'm drawing.
Yeah. You're not thinking while you're drawing?
No, I'm inking. No thinking while you're inking.
Just trace it.
That's right. You trace, make the simple lines nicer. That's all there is to it. Just happy little accidents.
So all right.
Anyways.
Yep.
I bum rushed your thought process there. I don't know if you remember what you were about to say before.
I don't know. Well, because the whole Titans thing, man. It's people throwing the Titans stuff.
Yeah. Did you see the preview? Or did we do that on my stream? No, you weren't on there.
No, I was not on there. But yeah, I saw
Yeah, what'd you think about that?
The Screw Batman.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that if that was, I mean, the first thing that hit me, I was like, if that's Dick Grayson, it totally makes sense to me. Because they, I mean, because there have been times when when their relationship has just been horrendous and where they've practically fought each other and had massive disagreements. So I was like, I don't necessarily like that. And like, oh, well, let's put this in here so it can be adult or whatever. But I definitely, like, just from him saying that, I'm like, that's Dick Grayson. It's got to be Dick Grayson, as opposed to any of the other Robins, just because of their relationship they've had that has been so, up and down. And so I don't know. And I will say too, I probably have more of a problem with how violent they were being to all the people and stuff. Like, I don't know why that was necessary.
Because it's dark, man. It's got to be dark.
Yeah, it's all got to be dark.
Watch our viewers disappear. Comic Artist Pro Secrets just started a stream.
Oh, fun.
It's, yeah. That's, you got a lot of.
Oh yeah.
When you're all in the same pool, that's why I want to grow the pool. That's why I want to grow the pies. There they go. 78. At least say goodbye before you leave. It's all right. 77. Anyone else? Ethan is on. Go ahead. 75. You're allowed. Jay likes it here. Right on. Is that it? Have we hit bottom at 75? 75? Going once? Going twice. Ethan sucking the air out of the room, Van Skyver. 73. 73. Do I hear 72? 72. Can we get a 71?
You've been Skyvered.
I'm watching both. 69. Oh, and down it goes. You missed your chance to pitch 67. Ooh, 67. Thanks for the heads up. Sure.
I was gonna say.
All right, Sketch Therapy. I got my blue mic today. Growing the pie. 62. 62. I have lost a third of this. 60. Hey, back up to 62. Hey, there we go. Nah, it's cool. I knew they were gonna go anyways because everyone gets the alert, right? No? Oh, that's right. Everyone doesn't get the alert anymore. Hey, make sure you ring that bell for notifications. All right, we'll grow it. I want my own pie. I don't want to eat Ethan's pie. Ethan's got his own pie. I want my pie to be a separate pie from Ethan's. Let's see how low we can go. Thank you. So anywho, why don't, before they all leave, why don't you remind everyone what The Cry is and why you are doing this book?
The Cry is at its heart sort of and it's really more of a pro-child thing more than anything, because it's an anti-child molestation thing, and there goes half the other people. No,
we're back up. We're up.
Oh wow. Because that's doing things on kind of taboo subjects can make things interesting and difficult, but you got to do what you got to do if you feel led to do something or tackle an issue. And especially the fact of that, I didn't just want to tackle an issue. It's like I had a story to tell, and I know that's one of our, one of the big things that a lot of us and a lot of our friends are like really kind of harping on. It's like, man, give us good stories and give us good characters.
Yeah.
Stop with all the other stuff. And that's the thing that I was really wanting to do for this. But at the same time too, I'm like, well, I don't want people to think it's one thing and then read it and be like, okay, this is really uncomfortable. I did not know it was going to go here. And we did kind of want to do it for a cop. But it's basically about a I don't want to give too much away, but it's about a monster that's made of tears. So it can come and help people, and it's sort of a ghost story kind of ish thing in a way. But it is kind of a monster book at its heart, really, a monster horror story. But it doesn't. I don't know. We try to be very tactful with everything that we do with it, just because that's the way I like to do things.
Now, what would happen if you had a monster made up of SJW tears?
I don't know. It'd probably haunt you, I guess.
That's the best you got?
I don't know.
That's all you got?
That's all you got.
Really? I'm putting you on the spot here, man. Come on, be creative.
You're trying to get me to. You're trying to get me to go for that stuff. No, and I will say, you know, I have had after my last appearance, I did have some people say, hey, it's like if it was up to me, I wouldn't want to be associated with anybody from the Blacklist, from Comicsgate, and I'm like, but it's like I'm friends with Mike. Just because I don't agree with the way that some people may do things or be so aggressive and in your face with things,
and neither do I.
Right, and I would say that's the kind of the point too, is that I'm like, that's the exact problem we have with everything, because nobody's willing to. We don't have the exact same, you know, minds and opinions and experiences, and that's going to deny Mike or say, oh, well, I'm not going to go on your show anymore. Just because, it's like, Mike is my friend, and I've worked with him a few times. And I mean, if you know, they're going to find that out. I'm not going to sit there and go through all my Twitter and all my Facebook stuff and erase any trace of Mike Miller in my life or my career. It's just, it's not, because I want to be, you know, I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Yeah. And I hate people doing that and putting people in boxes. And I'm just like, you know, I'm not going to do that. No matter if that is the point. You know, that's one of the biggest problems with social media these days, is just people just picking sides and putting themselves in boxes and everything. And it's like, man, I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. They I think it's because they have a united mindset about, you know, that they expect, if we're forming a greater union, you know, like I wrote in the preamble, however you want to call it. The only thing we all agree on, left, right, gay, straight, whatever, is that we don't want propaganda shoved down our freaking throats in our entertainment.
Right.
That's Comicsgate. And but they don't want to see it that way, because they want propaganda shoved down our throats in their comics, because they want everyone to think that their way, because they think if we don't think their way, then we're evil. And it's so black and white for them. It's juvenile.
Well, and the bad thing is too, with any movement or with any group or whatever, they're always judged by the more extreme people that are parts of it, or the more, you know, extreme incidents or whatever, that, you know, you have one fluke, you know, really bad thing happen, and then that's what that whole group is about. And it's like, well, that's not, I mean, we're all human, you know, it's like, we do make mistakes, but also, I mean, that's just, you know, it's like the news. I mean, they always just want the worst news, or, you know, it's always whatever is the, you know, the loudest minority or whatever.
They're trying to say that, you know, it's like trying to say that all Christians are Westboro Baptists. That's what their mentality
exactly.
is.
Yep.
When the truth is, they're the freaking Westboro Baptists of the left. That's what SJWs are, right? Normal, left-leaning, reasonable people think SJWs are freaking insane, because they are. The same way people, you know, normal, rational Christians look at the Westboro Baptists, and they're like, "Yeah, you want to stay on the other side of the street there, buddy, because you're freaking nut."
Yeah.
And I've made
Yeah.
that point on Twitter, and people are like, holy crap, that's exactly right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those people drive me crazy. And we've got some people that are like that that show up at our nice, wonderful local conventions too, and just scream at people and tell them they're going to hell. And
yeah, it's yeah. I don't see that doing any good. I don't think they're going to reach anyone. I'd like to ask any of them if they've ever had someone actually come up to them and be like, "Oh wow, you just totally convicted me to turn my life around," because I doubt it.
oh yeah, that was when I will say that when I first really kind of made the decision to follow Christ or whatever, because I say that because I don't know if I really was, because I felt pressured into it, and it was like it was more of, well, watch this end of the world movie and stuff, and then you better make a decision, like, are you gonna take the mark of the beast? And it's like but the whole point is that God wants a relationship with us. It's that, shoving that, doing the hellfire and damnation
relationship.
Yeah, it's like you can't, and especially into a loving relationship. Like, right. He wants, to us to not just respect him, but also to love him and understand where he's coming from and everything else. And it's like, man, you can't do that. And that's the thing, like, that I told people, is like, I feel like it hindered my relationship for years, because of coming into Christianity that way. And then, and especially just because, there were different things that were, from that church or from, different denominations, whatever, that get very rigid. And I understand there's reasons why people put rules and things in place, that because of different, stuff that happens. But yeah, we need to be a little bit more flexible, as long as it's not anti-Bible and stuff.
Yeah. You don't have to be so politic about it.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want. It's just you and me here.
No, yeah. And 4 other people.
Else is at Ethan Street. Fine, whatever. He's got bills to pay.
That's good. Yep. Yeah, he's got taxes to pay now and all that money.
Well, he's got the money to pay it, so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I'm still waiting for my money to come in.
Mike's like, I want tax problems.
I already have tax problems. I want to take care of my tax problems. Thank you very much.
Move out of California.
No, it's IRS tax problems. Hey, we still have 65. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for sticking it out. I assume that Ethan is still singing. Somebody said Ethan's singing. We'll come back when he's done, or we'll go back when he's done.
That's funny. Wow, nice.
Maybe he's singing the "What You Talking About, Willis" song that we came up with the other night.
Oh boy.
What you talking about, Willis? Did NASA really get his money already? He said he did. I don't see any reason he would lie about it, so that's frustrating. I mean, good for him. Ethan is all about Star Wars.
Too honest.
That's Ethan being about Star Wars is an interesting example of how you grow the pie. It's always about growing the pie, right? I'm always talking about that. I don't know if do you even watch my channel?
Yeah.
Yep. You just got cut off.
I don't watch it all I don't watch it all the time, but I have watched quite a few.
All right. Well, one of the things I am always talking about is like getting outside of the existing market, the outside of the existing, people who are buying currently, and like growing the pie and reaching out. And what Ethan is doing, because what I don't want is, I mean, I'll take comic readers who are in the comic book stores now. That's fine.
Right.
Happy to have them, of course. I'll take anyone's money. It's all green. It all spends. The IRS will take it all. But like Ethan is reaching Star Wars fans now and bringing new readers into the hobby. And I think that's what everyone who's on. I mean, granted, a lot of these guys are doing comic specific, only, talking about comics. So they're kind of already talking to the choir.
Right. Yeah.
But some of those choir have left the church a long time ago. So they're bringing the choir back, right? There are a lot of prodigal comic collectors out there, waiting to come home. And I'd love to bring them all back in. All of them come read our books. But what I also want to do is find new readers. And that's, video game fans, Star Wars fans, whatever fans. If you're interested, if you have a similar interest that would be complemented with comic books, we want to reach those people. We want to bring those people in. Yeah, we're down to 60 now. That's all right. But that's what I see, and that's what I want when new people come on board into this space. I want, if there's Game of Thrones, I mean, maybe I should be reaching out to the Game of Thrones people.
Well, if you like it.
I love Game of Thrones.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Talk about the stuff that you like and that you've known for. Well, and your experiences too. I mean, they would, I don't know if George R.R. Martin would want you telling everything that whatever that you guys have done or talked about or whatever. But I mean, yeah, but that stuff's fascinating.
Yeah. But I know they're fantasy fans, fantasy fiction fans, fantasy movie fans, just all those different fans out there who could see who could possibly be interested in the kind of comics we're doing. Vampire fan, I just want everyone to be able to reach outside into the broader pop culture and try to bring people into the hobby that have never picked up a comic book before. I mean, because I saw it with Injustice, the video game.
Oh yeah. Yep.
The video game brought more people into comics than any other project I'd ever worked on in 26 years. That video game crossed a boundary into, a genre that is conducive to comics, based on comics. And then I would get it all the time at every con. Oh yeah, Injustice was my first comic. Injustice was my first comic. Injustice was my first comic. I'm like, damn it, this is what we need. This is how we save the industry, because of all those prodigals having left the industry over the last 30 years. And I totally understand. I left reading comics a long time ago. There's nothing to read.
Well, there is, but it's not worth the effort to find it.
Yeah, it's like
so much garbage.
You're sifting through tons of crap to try to find a diamond.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's what I mean. And there, every avenue of entertainment, there's got to be some kind of crossover, and in that crossover, we can find new readers, and we can grow this. And I think that once we have, like Comic Storian has 1.8 million subs, right? And granted, a lot of those are, Comic Storian and Comics Explained are outright plagiarism, but that's not the point. The point is they've got more subs than Marvel or DC has readers.
Right. Yeah.
Possibly more subs than the entire industry has readers. And they are not, they're sitting there listening to people talk about comics, reading comics on YouTube.
Right.
So there's obviously an interest, and we can turn that interest into supporters and buyers. And if it's possible for them to do it, it's possible for us to reach 1 million people.
Right.
If Comicsgate as a movement can reach 1 million people, we just won the comic book industry because we are growing. That's
Right.
my message, is that we are trying to reach out, bring new people in. All the comic book industry, all Marvel, DC, Dynamic Forces, IDW, any of those people who are cranking out monthly books, month after month, no matter what the quality is, all they're doing is feeding on a 40-year-old pie that is getting old, withering, and dying. It's
Right.
there's hardly any new readers in comics that are walking into comic shops. You go in on any given Wednesday, it's a bunch of 30, 40-year-old people picking up books that they don't want to stop collecting because they've been doing it for 20 years and they have the whole collection, you know?
Yeah. Well, and Marvel's really stupid too because they haven't, with all their movie stuff, most of the comic things they've done don't cross over with the movies. And it's like you're getting, and I mean, I have seen tons of people come to conventions or come into comic stores looking for like the Iron Man comic or looking for this or looking for that. And it's like, oh, well, Tony Stark isn't Iron Man. And oh, well, this, it's like,
yes,
this
is the problem.
Yeah, or even just that the storyline is so different than what they've seen on the screen. So there's just this big disconnect with the style, and it's just
it is the biggest missed opportunity in media business, the history of the world. I think it's like it's painful.
With this, and I know because you and I are both kind of into the business aspect of things, and we look at those things, and they just it's just with this smash, incredible success that the Marvel movies have been, to see them just squander that is just aggravating.
Yeah, I have to make a correction. Sketch Therapy says Comicstorian and Comics Explained are socialists and SJWs. Tiff and Sal have always called BS, but their mods are soy bot blockers. Daniel and Mod King make me want to puke. Comicstorian is not a socialist or an SJW. Comicstorian is one of us. But you know what? He's got a business to run, and that business is not based on politics. And so, I wouldn't say that. He's a good guy. The other guy, I think, is probably a socialist.
I think probably.
The main comics piracy site gets 2 million hits a month. There's more pirate readers than paying readers. How do you handle that? Scans of Venom get uploaded immediately. You handle that by understanding that that's a reality. That we live in a culture now, where people want crap for free. People aren't going to pay for stuff. But you know what? If you can get 2 million people reading your stuff for free, you can convert 10% of those people into paying customers.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, if you get 10% of that, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. And that's, if you got 10% of 2 million readers, that's the #1 comic book, coming out of Marvel or DC. So it's just a reality. People are going to pirate. People want to read free stuff. That's why you can take a web comic like what was it? Penny Arcade, right? Penny Arcade was a web comic, which means they were delivering free content every single day or 5 times a week, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they got so freaking big. A, they were making money off of advertising, but B, they started their own stinking conventions. Now PAX is like a global phenomenon. These huge conventions all around the planet, all based off of a freaking webcomic. So, yeah, you just have to deal with it and realize that that's reality. You can't change the world now. You have to accept that's going to happen. Accept that now there's 2 million. That's a huge number of readers.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
good news. There are people out
Yeah.
there wanting these books, but not wanting to pay for them because most of them are crap anyways. Guys, be quiet or get out. Okay. Um, very deep conversations today. Nice.
I hope he doesn't mean deep as in the level of crap in the.
Okay, hold on. Comic Storian was on a stream and called Comic Skaters idiots. Okay, I've talked to Benny about this, and I've seen what he said on Twitter, and I watched the video. He was blocking himself from calling one particular person out because he didn't want to give him oxygen. And it's just like what Jeff was saying earlier, how you can't agree with how everybody in any given movement behaves. And he's thinking about one particular person whom I am not either going to name, but he was about to say his name, and rather than say his name, he said Comicsgate. And so
Right.
he was kind of like stumbling over his own thought process in the middle
Right.
of it. He believes in the okay, I probably can't.
You don't want to speak for him?
I
Come
don't want to
on,
speak
Mike.
for him. I don't want to speak for him. But he is one of us. I mean, the guy's former military. He may dye his hair funny colors once in a while, but but that doesn't make him a SJW or anything. So take it with a grain of salt. You don't have to be a reactionary about everything everybody says. We all make mistakes. So, then did you know Jesus studied the Buddha and Hinduism? Jesus didn't have to study because Jesus is God. He already knew about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cecil. It had to be about Cecil.
Uh-huh.
You don't even know who that is. I don't think you follow Cecil.
Not that closely. No.
Probably a good idea not to. I don't care if he made a mistake. He didn't. I care that he didn't correct it. Well, I'm a little more forgiving than you are. I think he's having somebody that is one of us in such a position. It can't be bad. So hopefully someday we will get a firm hold of the narrative. We will override the narrative that the left is trying to push upon Comicsgate, and then people like he and others, won't be, gosh, I'm sorry. So some of the stuff is confidential, so I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
So, whatever your opinion is, whatever, that's fine. I'm just telling you, he is one of us, and he's a good guy. So, but I'm not gonna go any further than that because I don't want to speak out of sorts, or however you say it. Speak out of turn, and I don't want to speak for anyone other than me.
Well, that's good. You got Spider-Man behind you.
GRP poll, $2 Canadian. Hail, Mike. Hail, great GRP poll. What the GR is for.
Speaking of the people reading comics and things online, I mean, most of us too do tend to, put a lot of our pages and a lot of artwork and stuff like that online, probably more than what we would necessarily want to, just because we'd like some things to be a surprise or whatever. But I knew too, especially because so many people want good story. That's one reason why I put up the like 12 pages of The Cry on our thing, and why I've also like sent it out and shared it with people, because I knew a lot of people that aren't necessarily into supernatural stuff or into horror or whatever, but I knew we were, you know, it was a good story and we had good characters. And so doing that and having those things out there, it helps, you know, legitimize like what you're doing, but also it shows legitimize. Yeah, too many syllables. I want to cut. Hold on, I gotta copyright that. But you know, just to, but because I did that, I had like people were like, oh my gosh, like I love this story, and like I hate horror and I hate like other stuff like that. But people want good story, you know, and that's like even like with your like Lone Star thing. It's, I mean, there's quite a few things out there that are, you know, that kind of have harken back to old superheroes or whatever, but or even war era people or whatever. But you know, it doesn't have they don't necessarily have all the other aspects or your particular style and your particular storytelling and characters that Lone Star does. So I mean, that's you know, and that stuff is, oh man, I do think, you know, what's funny is I think that there's certain reasons why Mike and I have kind of stayed friends through the year and kind of connect man, I'm like wanting to add a syllable to like so many extra words right now. I'm like in overriding mode.
Creativity.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is because and I know that you kind of get it, and I tell people, you know, and I've told a lot of people, it's like man, Mike is a really good writer, and I've told Mike that too, that he needs to do that and do more of it or whatever. And but you know, we're definitely kind of more I don't know if you would say eclectic or whatever, but we have such a wide variety of stories and things that we, you know, that we want to do. Cause like, I mean, even to, you know, just looking back to the Alias days, and you had the Imaginaries, and then you had Deal with the Devil, both of which you had deals for, but they're like totally different things. And nowadays people want to put people in such boxes that I do think it's a little bit tough for creators like you and I to be able to branch out the way we would really like to, or get people willing to check out these other things. It's like, no, it's like, if you're a good storyteller and if you're a good artist or whatever, it's like you can, you know, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's true. I don't know. Yeah, I had I had just at Alias, I had Lullaby, fairy tale fiction.
Yep.
Imaginaries, imaginary friends fiction. Imaginary friends / sort of superhero.
Right.
Deal with the Devil, which was like murder, mystery, suspense. Six Gun Samurai, which was Western.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
And Devil's Keeper, which was martial arts, spiritual, whatever you want to call it. So that was just what I had at Alias. It's like,
yeah.
Do I do a rom-com next?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, It's a Miserable Life. So.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff and I were working on a project called It's a Miserable Life.
The next sort of great Christmas movie.
Yeah, if we could ever get it done. And then I wrote The Bouncer for Ray Park.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got no end. Genre means nothing to me. I mean, it's like, you know, I couldn't possibly get pigeonholed. You know, it's interesting. That's like Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer started at the beginning of his career. He's like, I never want to do the same genre film twice.
Right.
Yeah. So if you'd noticed that, he'd done like one romantic comedy. He's done one action adventure. He's, you know, he'd go through all this. And then when he got cast for Batman, I'm like, he's only going to do one.
One. Yeah. I know.
And that was it. He only did the one. And then George Clooney came in.
Yeah.
Sierra Whiskey for $1.99. Mike, your kid just climbed the wall.
Yeah.
My kids are always climbing the walls, and then they make me climb the walls. So yeah. Oh, people like Six Gun Samurai. Six Gun goes to Japan. Someday, perhaps. Mike, could it be that you haven't gotten paid for IGG yet because you have extended it to a store? No, that's not how it works. I'm not sure why. I'll have to do another, check. Maybe if there's somebody I can contact. But it is within what they said. They said it's within a week, within the week of the 17th, which is yesterday. So
Yeah.
they still have some time to fulfill what they actually said. Does anyone like Ultraman? Heck yeah, Ultraman was.
Oh yeah.
Not DC's Ultraman, right? You mean like freaking Ultraman?
Dude, have you read the manga, the new one?
No.
Oh my gosh. You got to look it up sometime too. The art is freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I wonder if I wonder if you're the person watching this that said that. I wonder if they've read any of the new manga stuff. Man, it is so cool. It is it depends. It's one of those things too where it's not I actually love it because it balances between being a little bit more realistic like nowadays with but not getting rid of the past. And it kind of just brings it in and kind of explains like kind of what was happening before, but this is what's happening now. And I like that. I like it when things do that.
Says JS Jones, yeah, it's awesome story and art.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is so good. And there's oh, dude, seriously, you need to check it out. It's like, man, but it's like there's like 12 volumes or something now. It's like a lot.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, but it's really good. Even just the covers, you'll be like, you'll be impressed. And then the inside is really good too. I mean, they really do a good job. I was very, very impressed.
Awesome.
I definitely, yeah.
Here's a idea, Mike. Gala walkers lynched zombies that take revenge for wrongful deaths. I have enough of my own ideas.
I was gonna say.
But yeah, do that. Find somebody to do that. That's not a bad idea.
You got to do a Secret Wars with all your different characters and creations.
That'll be the plan for that is like 10 years off, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have that plan. It's actually called Harmony.
Ah.
Funny, huh?
So anybody who wants
I have plans 10 years out.
Anyone who wants to steal that, you have 10 years to get it out before Mike does.
You just have to build an entire universe, and then yeah. Now, Harmony was an idea I came up with before I moved to San Diego.
Wow.
So 26 years ago, I came up with it. Yeah, isn't it funny? I've got all this stuff from decades past I'm putting together just for a singular universe.
Yeah.
This has been a long time coming. How do you do an Indiegogo for an ongoing Tears with back issues for people who missed out? Yeah, I would go check out what Brian Polito's doing with the Lady Death stuff, because he's done like, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9, I don't know how many he's done so far, but he just keeps doing Lady Death Indiegogos, and yeah, you can pick up like earlier tier stuff. So yeah, check out what he's doing if you want to get an idea for that. So EVS is streaming again. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. Went from 97 to 96. Here we go again.
Yay.
Curse you, EVS.
No, Ethan's singing. Come back. Ethan's singing.
He's just eating pie. 92. Here they go.
But it's Ethan. He's eating
91.
Pie. I'll eat pie. Give me a pie. Hey, give me a pie.
89. Wow, look at him run.
Wow.
Look at him run. I guess, Jeff, we're just not that interesting.
Apparently.
No, they're loyal. They're loyal to Caesar. So
yeah,
it's all good. They can come back and watch this on the on the replay.
Speaking of pie, did you ever watch Pushing Daisies?
Pushing Daisies. No.
Oh, dude, you got to watch Pushing Daisies.
Why? Tell me.
So good. So good. Well, it's well, for one thing, you'll appreciate the quality. There hasn't been, like, they built, and this is one reason why. I mean, it was a hit, and then the writer's strike came, which delayed everything. And then when it came back, they changed the day and time, and it lost all this stuff. But it actually won a bunch of awards and stuff. But it's kind of like a Tim Burton style TV show in a way. But it's about this guy who's a pie maker, and he has a place called the Pie Hole. That's like a diner, and it's very funny. But the dialogue and stuff is hilarious. But the twist is that he can touch, that he can bring people back to life, or animals, if he touches them once. But then if he touches them again, they're dead forever. So he ended up, when he was young, he brought his dog that got hit by a car back to life. But then he can never touch it. So he has to use those little like plastic like hand things to like scratch its ears and stuff. Like he'll do stuff. It's funny with the way that they do things. And then he actually brings back his and it is a murder mystery thing, because, and that's what they even say in the first one. It's a lot easier to find out who killed people if you can bring people back from the dead and just ask them. So they'll go to the morgue and stuff and do things like that before their body's dead. But then he'll have to touch them again. But then sometimes there are things that happen and he doesn't touch them again, or like what, and it's just like, or he'll touch them and then they'll get caught up talking and he'll accidentally touch them again. And so they're dead, but he didn't ask them who killed them. So it's like, so there's all this like really funny stuff, but like the dialogue is freaking hilarious.
Yeah,
like
who wrote it?
It's Social Justice Warrior. No, actually, I'm sure he is, but he is so freaking talented. Brian, come on, fans, let me hear. Brian, Bryan. Oh, you know, he also did, speaking of eclectic stuff, he also did the Hannibal show that was on. It's the exact same guy, very different tone. But they built like so many sets. They had to have costumes. So, I mean, it was doing great when the ratings were phenomenal. But then when it had to take this big long break because of the writer's strike, they lost like so much momentum. And then it's like, I mean, because it's expensive to make a movie where you're building sets and costumes for everybody, you know, let alone a TV show. It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, that's just crazy. So as soon as they went through that, it was just, it was not good. But it's really very funny, very clever.
Brian Fuller?
Brian Fuller, yes. Did you say that or somebody else?
Somebody else did.
Yeah, Brian Fuller. But
I'll take credit.
Oh, it's so good. It was so good though.
What's it on?
Well, I mean, now it's, DVD or it's on. I mean, they have it streaming places. I mean, you can definitely.
And yes,
find
Fuller
it.
is an SJW.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. But man, I mean, he's so. I mean, and I think in general, I think I just think he's such a talented like writer and stuff like that. Like, I don't even know. With that was
How was
interesting.
that? Oh, it's on Netflix. It was on ABC when it came out. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
It's really good. But I have an older actor friend who really loves my writing and different things, and he was like, Jeff, you have to watch. He's like, oh my gosh, you'll think it's hilarious. But it's so clever. A lot of the writing, a lot of the dialogue, and this is definitely not the way that Hannibal was. But a lot of the writing is very, it's almost like it's a play or something. Like it's like if you've ever seen a play that is like just has really clever dialogue and stuff like that in it. I mean, it's very much like that. And there's all these like funny little clever ideas and different things they do. But I mean, it's just so good. It's really, man, it's been a gem, and it's pretty awesome.
How many?
It only ended up because of that
Writer's strike. Yeah.
Writer's strike. It would have had at least 3 seasons, but it ended up having kind of a 2 seasons. But like the first one was like it had quite a few episodes, and then the second season had quite a few, and they even were able to wrap up the story with having, because everyone involved, and it's fun because. But everyone involved, I don't remember exactly what the story was, but so many people that were involved with the final episodes, they either like worked really super cheap or whatever to do it, just because they wanted to be able to tell like a complete story, just because they like all love the universe and stuff like so much, and which is pretty awesome because they do have quite a bit of like computer animation and stuff like that too that you just wouldn't think of for a show like that, but because it was so quirky and clever, it's just. But I think he's a very, and to me he's one of those good examples of somebody who's just very good at what they do and tells very good stories, and he's a good director and stuff too. But I mean, just like because I know last time we brought up like Babylon 5 and stuff like that. It's like, just because you have certain beliefs doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful to the other side. And he wrote, I mean, I know so many religious people who love the way that this atheist writer portrayed religion in that show. I mean,
I mean, you don't have to be. I mean, I don't have to be. I could write an atheist well and respectfully. It's like, that's what being a good writer and not putting your stupid propaganda in front of your talent is. So
yeah,
Ethan just said you are a crier. You're funny. Gosh, there was this show on I think it's on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there, but it was a British show. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's got a vampire, a werewolf, and a ghost living in an apartment together.
Yeah, and then Sci-Fi did their own version of it. It's like,
which was horrible.
Right.
The American version is just garbage. I couldn't even get through the first one. But the British version, have you seen? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's killing me. Like I want to say it's like Almost Human or something.
Being Human. Being human.
Yes.
Yeah, that I really, really enjoyed the British version of that show. Did you see the whole thing?
I did not see the whole series. No.
Yeah, it was interesting because it had a definitive end, and I'm like, wow, they never do that.
Right.
They never, they're always trying to milk it and squeeze more. But yeah, it was great. Yeah, Being Human. Gott's the Iron Hand. He saw both versions. Did the American version get better? Because I really just couldn't stand the first episode. Sam was playing and it lost. BBC version was much better. Almost Human was another show which was good. Almost Human,
right? That was the one where the cop and his sidekick was like an android. Yeah. It was the guy that plays Bones in the new Star Trek movies. It was him, and the other guy was man. He's been in a few things. He's a black guy, but man, he's really talented. Like I've seen him in a few different things now, and he acts very different in a lot of them. And but that was very good. That was actually pretty good.
Carl Urban.
Yeah, I don't remember the.
Okay, yeah, I remember the ads for it. I didn't watch it. So, what else would you recommend I waste time on?
Well, see, and that's the thing too. Like if I'm going to tell people to spend time, which I believe is a very valuable commodity. Yeah. And that's why, like, it's so hard for me. And man, I don't know. Hopefully I'm not going to lose people here. But it's like I have such a hard time watching CW shows now. Oh my gosh, it's just
You mean those what CW shows?
the Arrow and Supergirl and all that stuff.
Interesting, because when Arrow came out, or I didn't watch it at first, but somebody recommended it to me, and I watched it. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this is how comic book TV shows should be done,
Right.
and I really liked it. And then Daredevil came out, and I'm like, oh man,
this is the way.
Arrow sucks. And I couldn't watch Arrow anymore, and yeah, I never got into the Flash.
I will say
I watched the commercial for Supergirl, and I'm like, no.
I think the first season for Supergirl was very well done. Then they they went like kind of off the reservation with all their stuff. But
it was freaking Ally McBeal with a superhero shirt on. Yeah. So no, pass.
But it had Dean Cain. How can you not support Dean Cain?
Oh, really? I didn't know he was in it.
Yeah, they had. Her parents was Dean Cain and Helen Slater, I think, which is a little weird, but yeah, those were that was it. Yeah, so you were actually on that show. But I know, still waiting for that money too.
Yeah, still waiting for that money.
No, I will say I do like the Flash because I think it fits there, and it's consistently the #1 rated show, like as far as ratings go. For that they call it the Arrowverse over at the CW. Yeah, that's what because that makes sense. Just because Arrow was first,
right?
But I don't know. Like I think that does kind of hit the sweet spot, and some of the comedy stuff is pretty good. But yeah, it's definitely not. It's not my choice of superhero shows.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I do like Daredevil.
How'd you like Iron Fist? Wait, isn't there a new one out?
It's not out yet. The second season. What I'm really gonna be interested in is how much they learn from their mistakes. And I wonder how much. See, I almost think that he probably on his own went out and started taking a bunch of martial arts lessons, because that was just ridiculous that it had like some of the worst fighting of all the shows. And it's like, he's a martial artist. Like it's like you had one job, this is the one thing you really need to focus on, and do this well. And then it really just made it even worse because they had that show Into the Badlands come out that has some killer martial artist stuff in it, like right at the same time. And it just really just showed how badly the fighting and stuff like that was, how just poorly done it was in Iron Fist. I think some of the story was okay. It was a little kind of all over the place, and I think it probably only needed to be like 4 episodes long. Because about halfway through, like when the one guy dies and he comes back from the dead, spoiler alert. That got pretty interesting, but we had to go through like 6 snail episodes to get there. And that was just, it was like, okay, this is
weird. I don't even remember.
Oh, it gets really dark and everything. I mean, it is like it almost became like a totally different show. But then it's like, well, we still got to drag it out, so we got to bring back some of the other stuff. And it's like, it's just, to me, it seemed like it was an afterthought. From what I read, it had the lowest budget. I mean, all those things come into play, and they just, and at that point too, I think everybody was just like, well, just slap the name Marvel and Netflix on it, and people are going to watch it no matter what. So
I did.
Why should we invest all this stuff? I know. I did too. But it didn't make enough of an impact that you don't even remember that stuff.
I know.
But Yeah.
It is what it is. Defenders was good.
Yeah, I like, it's funny, and there's people that kind of complained about it, like, and I get it because it's a TV show and they had like, but I thought I was actually pretty amazed at the way that it flowed back and forth between the different characters and worlds, and I thought that they did really good job with that, and I don't even know how much I mean, I do because I'm into the music and all that stuff too, but like they would basically have musical cues and stuff whenever they would switch. From one style from one character to the other,
Right.
and I thought it worked really well, and they also very much did different colored lighting for the different like they really took their time and did some pretty cool technical stuff with it that I thought worked well. I mean, yeah, I don't know, Elektra has never been as cool as she should be on there, but
I like the Elektra.
I like her too, but
only about 1,000 times better than the Elektra in the movie.
Oh, you don't like?
Oh, come on.
there were elements of that movie that I liked, but it's definitely
no. Talk about some of your worst kung fu ever.
You didn't like the fight with all the sheets and everything flowing everywhere, and
I'm not even talking about the Elektra movie. I'm talking about the Daredevil movie.
Oh, the Daredevil movie.
Bother watching the Elektra movie.
Oh man. Actually, I like the Elektra movie a lot better than the Daredevil movie.
Oh, really?
Oh,
that's not saying much.
No, I mean, it's just because
there was nothing to like about the Daredevil movie. Luke Cage season 1 was awesome till season 2 came out, didn't it? Luke Cage.
Yes, it did.
I haven't seen that yet. Dang it! Until Cottonmouth got killed. Luke Cage season 2 had Gary Clark Jr. episode like that one. Yeah, I was nonplussed about Luke Cage season 1. That's why I wasn't really. I'm like, in the back of my head, I knew season 2 came out, but I haven't bothered watching it yet.
Yeah, it's more of the same, pretty much. It's a lot of the same style and tone, and I mean, it gets well, what's her face has but they do have they do develop some things like with what's her name, Misty. Yeah, she has her metal arm and everything now, and stuff like that. They've and I think they have. I think that was my biggest frustration. Is I felt like the level of actors and acting on there was better than the level of the story.
Yeah.
They had some really good actors and actresses, and it's just, man, they just kind of squandered. I don't think it was. I mean, it's not like Arrow and some other things have become. But it definitely. I don't know. Yeah, it could have been a lot more. But it's still, I would say it's one of the ones I liked.
I think perhaps what they're doing is they're falling into the same trap that Marvel Comics has fallen into, which is, oh man, we've got a schedule to fill.
Right.
Rather than, oh, I've got a great idea.
Well, and I'd like to know the contract, because it seems like that they have I don't know, that they have to do at least 2 seasons of each of the things, and because Daredevil was first, it gets at least 3 seasons. Because honestly, like, I don't know why you would even make a second season of Iron Fist after how poorly it did, and just how, I mean, it was just terrible.
Right.
I just think that's the contract they signed with Marvel, so they had to do it. But I mean, it's funny, like, I'll tell people when people ask me like what order to watch the stuff in, I'll tell them that, and I'll just tell them to skip Iron Fist and just watch Defenders, because actually I think Defenders is a better Iron Fist story than the Iron Fist show was. I mean, it's so much about Iron Fist, and connecting to him and why he's important and stuff, that it's just funny. Like, and people are like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. Believe me, I've watched both. I'm telling you, you don't need to put yourself through that. It's like, your time is valuable. But Yeah, I do, but man, you know, I like that. I actually, I wonder how many people I will say, and I don't know. I'm assuming that you won't, because I'm one of the few people the comic creators I know that feels this way. But I think some people are prejudiced just because of what channel it's on. But I actually really like the Cloak and Dagger TV show.
I haven't seen it.
I think it is very well done.
What channel is it on?
I'm also Freeform.
The hell is that?
It is. Is that owned by? I think it's owned by Disney. Actually, it's kind of like the CW, but it is owned by Disney. And
How the hell am I supposed to see
it? Yeah, because it was ABC Family, and then now it's changed to Freeform. I actually really like it. I thought the pilot was actually one of the best pilots I've seen for a comic book thing in a while. I know, which I don't. Several of the comic creators I know were complaining because it didn't get very superhero-y very quick, and I was like, but like if you're doing Cloak and Dagger in the real world, I don't expect it to.
Yeah.
You know, just because they deal with more of the street issues and more of the drug stuff and like it's just like if you're doing it as a TV show, it's like, why are they just gonna, like you're saying, why would they sit there and just slap spandex on and do all this? You know, it's just, it doesn't, you know, it made sense a little bit back in the 80s, but I mean, just if you're doing it in the real world now, it just doesn't work. But man, they do. Of course, I will say I am a sucker for symbolism, and they do so much symbolism in that show. I mean, it just drips with symbolism between the light and the dark, and there's so many times when he has a white shirt on and she has a black shirt on, and they do. I mean, just so much different stuff. I know several of my friends have said it's like, oh, it's just too much angst in it for me. And it's like, but it's not normal angst. I mean, he is devastated because his brother got killed, and she is like devastated because of she lost her father, and there's all these other and there's all this and her mom is basically like a drunk that steals from her and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, it's not normal. That's not normal teenage angst. It's not Who Likes Me at High School. Like whatever. I mean, they're dealing with, you know, heavy duty, you know, life issues of, you know, deaths of people close to them, of being betrayed by people close to them and others. It's like, that's not normal teenage angst. I think people they're kind of falling into, well, this is what I think is going to be on this station because it's like a teenage station. Yeah, and it's like,
Sketch Therapy asked, Cloak and Dagger was the Check Your Privilege show, right? Did they just pick the worst part to put in the trailer?
No, Cloak and Dagger is good, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's way better than Black Lightning, in my opinion.
No, but they're saying in the trailer they had that moment where check your privilege.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
So is it chock full of that crap, or is it?
Oh no, no. I don't. I mean, they deal with stuff. But I will say too, like I really like both the actors in it. Like I think I really like his character. And I like some of the spins because I don't remember but like her, like part of her gift like, you know, with like Cloak, where it's like people, I don't know, it's kind of like their fears and they see their fears and stuff like that. When he, like, you know, does stuff to them or touches them or whatever. I
thought he absorbed them into
right.
Into the dark.
Well, usually what they went into, it depends because they've changed exactly how things work and what, but through a lot of the time it was like when they went into that, like they saw their fears, like they saw their worst kind of like nightmare world or whatever. And this gets a little bit more real with that, with what the fears are, but then it is kind of like a dream world kind of thing too. But he but in this, he's like, they don't just see it, like he sees it too.
Oh.
And her thing is that she will see people's hopes. And so there's a lot of different things, and then at the same time too, they're able to use these things, like because and that's the thing too. Like if you want to manipulate somebody that's a bad guy or whatever, and you see and you know what their hopes are, then you can kind of play off of that and try to, do stuff like that. And then, but then at the same time too, they do get, they're like they start questioning, morally wise, like how much they're allowed to do that and why and all this, and they both have very different opinions on that stuff. But I actually really like, I think it's done tastefully. I can see why some people might say, oh, there's too much, like whatever, like racial stuff with the black stuff. It's like, well, they're dealing with it just normally, like normal black stuff, and they deal with having like some family that was from like Africa, and there's like some kind of like I don't totally remember, but they tie this into like what's gonna be his cloak is like that these men of the certain tribe from Africa would make these like cloaks, and they're almost like prayer shawls or something like that. And his brother that got killed was working on one before he got killed, and now he's gonna finish it, and I have a feeling that that's gonna end up turning into like that's what his cloak is this thing that he did. It's not, that's the thing. I think
people are mad because he hasn't, his first season's over and he doesn't have his cloak yet.
Yeah, well, and they just so a lot of people are mad because he didn't because they didn't go very superhero-y until about halfway through the season. But it's I don't know. Like that's fine. That's fine for me. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I thought like really. When you, I know it's a different kind of thing, but like Jessica Jones, like has she really gone superhero-y at all? It's just not.
No, and I'm really hoping she never puts that god awful outfit on.
Right, exactly, and it's like that's it works for that show. It works for that thing. Like you don't.
Yeah,
you don't
and I'm sorry, but what is the deal with that costume?
Yeah, I don't.
Like in the comics, Jessica Jones has the dumbest freaking costume.
Yeah. I think
man.
that's probably why they did it like that.
Yeah, didn't they have an episode where like someone came out like carrying it and she's like, I'm not wearing that.
Yeah.
Mike is using JS as ambient noise while he draws.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're having a conversation. He's talking about something I don't know, so I'm listening.
Yeah. All right. I'm just going in one earphone and out the other.
Yeah. Have you watched Peaky Blinders?
No, I have not. I will say I watched the first episode. Not totally my thing. I totally think it's like high quality and stuff.
Yeah, it's freaking great, dude. If you let yourself get into it, you'll just binge the whole thing. It's fantastic.
Have you seen the other? I mean, it's different. It's the dark. It's like on it's British, and it's about like all the dark like pulp stuff is what it was like taken from originally. Oh man, I can't think of the name of it, but that's been on. I don't know if it still is on Netflix, but it was too.
Dark.
But I know a lot of people that like that. It deals with all the different like murderers and but all the different scary. Gosh, I should look it up, but I can't look it up right
now. Is Michael Biehn in it, or not Michael Biehn? Sean Bean in it?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, I saw like the first episode of that. I can't remember the name of it either.
But
I hear good things about Peaky. Peaky's fantastic sketch. You got to check that out. If you can tear yourself away from YouTube for long enough.
Yeah. See, this is
sketches on YouTube. I think about 18 hours a day. It's a career for him.
Wow, he should be writing reviews or something.
Yeah, I told him he should. He totally has the personality to do his own channel and blow it up, dude. Yeah, YouTube's great. It's a nice I should have started this earlier.
Well, I think a lot of people tend to think you have to put on a persona. You can't just be yourself.
Nah, people see right through that crap.
Yeah, it's like no, you can just do it, and people want real, and people want, you know, honest and everything.
And if they don't like you, they won't watch you. No big deal.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, you just gotta
Unless they want to watch you just to give you crap.
yeah, gotta be comfortable in your own skin.
Yep.
Nice
the only
dance
skin
moves.
you got. That's Brett's kid.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
Brett.
Dynamo, I'm not even gonna repeat your weird question. That's that's not my kid. Oh wait, which one of you is licking yourself? All right. Sharp's series with Sean Bean is pretty good. What's the series? Frankenstein Chronicles.
Oh. Yeah.
No, there's another one. Ripper Street. Have you seen that one? That's good.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Did you ever watch? I mean, I like him as an actor, Idris Elba. Did you ever watch Luther?
No, I didn't. I hear it's good, but I just haven't.
It's fantastic.
Is it?
Yeah, and you would love the because it gets into a lot of moral issues.
Really?
Yeah, because the very first, I mean, right at the very beginning, there's like a pedophile that he's boy. I really resisted the temptation to bring this back to the cry. It's like oh yeah, let's use pedophiles to promote my comic, just because it deals with some of that. But he has this like pedophile that he's chasing. He's a cop, and the guy's hanging from this like scaffolding or something. And he won't save the guy until the guy tells him where he like buried this girl, or where this girl is that he took. And then right at the last, he finally tells him that she's like in this wall or something in this one house, that he put her in there, and she is alive, and they actually do save her. But before he can save the guy falls like 20 feet and like breaks his back and stuff, and it goes into a coma. And so then he's immediately he's you know, put on leave because of the situation, and is being investigated right from the very first episode. And then and I love the way, although the first episode is very different from the other ones, because because in all the episodes, I don't know if you ever watched Columbo or anything, but it starts with you seeing the crime, you know who did it. It's what the story is about, why they did it. So it gets into a lot more of a deeper space, and really gets into good and evil and stuff like that. Especially, and then he kind of becomes friend with this like serial killer lady that he cannot prove did what he knows she did. But she respects him because she's like the other end of the coin. But man, there's this one episode, I think it's the first or second one in this second season, where and this is another thing that I absolutely love too, because it's just such good storytelling on top of the acting. But they had there was one guy that he went on like live TV to basically push him to get the guy to kind of come out, because they weren't being able to find him. So he starts like saying these things to try to instigate the guy to act and do things to get him where they can find him. But then what happens is, because he did that publicly, there are repercussions for his family, for his wife and his daughter later. And in the second season, the wife comes to Luther, and she's like, listen, my daughter like lives on the street now, because she couldn't, like, she left school because of the ridicule and all this stuff. And she's like, and it's your fault. And that's the thing. I mean, it deals with the repercussions of what we say and what we do. And no matter if think we're doing them for the right reasons or not. And and the wife is just the absolute drunk, like nothing now, and she's like, and he's getting, and she's like, and now she's like getting into prostitution, and she's doing this like really violent like pornography stuff, and she's afraid she's gonna die and everything, and she just really kind of keeps hitting him because he knows, you know, she knows how he kind of takes the moral high road, and so then it does end up eating him. He's like, and finally he's just like, fine, I'll talk to her, but you know, it's her choice. But I'll go talk to her, and I'll try to get her to come home and different things. And so he goes into this place that's like pretty nasty, and they're filming all these different things. And he finds her, and they have a very interesting conversation. And I mean, he just really tries to talk to her almost as like a father figure in a way. And she just, you know, keeps telling him to F off and stuff. And but the thing is and then he walks out, and I've watched this episode like 3 or 4 times because I've watched the show with a few different people that I had like wanted to show it to. And he ends up like walking out because she just refused to go with him. And but then like I don't know, there's some, he kind of sees and like hears stuff, and then he ends up walking out of the building, and then he just stops, and he's like I can't leave her in there, and like I just in this hellhole with this stuff being done, like there were people in there like almost dying from just how violent and crazy like the sex stuff was and everything. So he turns around.
Guys, out.
The power. So he turns around and he goes storming back in there, and he like just picks her up and throws her over his shoulder and just storms out of the place, just carrying her with him. And it's just like, but you know, the funny thing is like the phrase that comes to my mind every time that is like, that's my Jesus. Is like, that's like, he would do something like that because because he knows her heart, right? No, regardless of the facade and everything else she's putting up on the outside, like he knows her heart and he knows what's best for her. So, and I'm just like, man, that's my Jesus, because he knows people's hearts. He knows my heart. And even when I say, you know, or whatever, but he's still going to try to push me in the right direction, or do different things, or correct me even very strongly when I need it, you know, to shape me up and get me in the right, you know, place. And I mean, there's just scenes and things like that in that series that I'm just like, man, this is so freaking awesome. You don't see that. And even, yeah, it's funny. And there's this other one too, where he crosses the line quite a bit, but it's usually when there's basically no other choice, but yet he's willing to do it. There's this one guy who was like he almost looks at himself as like a vampire killer guy, and he would just like suck the blood out of people, but he would keep them alive like in freezers and different. I mean, and do different. I mean, it's just really, really pretty wild satanic stuff. And they need a blood sample from the guy, but the guy is like a neat freak. So he walks down the alley, and he puts these gloves on, and he pulls like his coat up, and he puts this like hat on to try to look a little bit different. And he's walking by the guy, and he just decks the guy in the nose with his elbow. And then, I mean, it's just, he hits him so hard. And, but there's like blood everywhere. He catches some of it on his gloved hand that has like these medical gloves on it. And then he just like wraps the blood up in the glove to be able to tie him into the thing, which is obviously.
Gosh, why does this sound so familiar? Have I seen this freaking show?
It's been out for like 10 years or so. But man, it's so good, and it's so relevant, and it's just such good storytelling.
Yeah. Somebody's bringing up Altered Carbon. I tried watching that show, and I don't want to say it's a bad show, but boy, it just, I didn't care. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in. I wasn't like, oh man, I got to see the next episode. I was just like, well, I have these on my phone and I'm on a plane. I might as well watch them. It's that kind of.
Yeah. It's tough. Like I don't care about the main character.
Yeah, yeah. I don't care about
yeah.
any of the characters.
I mean, for me, like, well, not to get into a Star Wars thing, but if we want to steal some fans from Ethan,
you know what it is? It's remember the movie Apt Pupil?
Yeah.
It's that, right? Apt Pupil, for those who don't know, Apt Pupil was a movie about this kid who's like a alt-right, you know, he was a wannabe neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
And Magneto was playing this old like Nazi in hiding. And so they strike up this relationship, and you're like watching this movie going, these guys are both Nazis. Why do I care?
Right.
Like, and so, yeah, you can't do that.
It's not like I mean, it's not like Breaking Bad or something.
Where you have,
this huge arc and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Breaking Bad is a good guy making a bunch of bad decisions and turning into a bad guy and then trying to redeem himself.
Right.
As, so his story arc is this great big tidal wave.
Yeah. And it's a tragedy. I mean, it's pretty much a classic tragedy.
Yeah. But no, Apt Pupil is just like, I don't care about anyone here. Why am I watching this? Let me out. Breaking Bad was fun. Breaking Bad was great. I've watched that whole series a couple times already.
I like Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new episodes yet, so don't spoil anything.
Yeah, I won't.
They're on my DVR. I just haven't had time. I've been a little preoccupied.
Yeah. Being a YouTube star. And whatever else Dean Cain is doing these days.
55 people are watching. We get up to like 200, sometimes 220 people watching the Aloha Hour, but we do it at a time where there's like nobody else is really on, so I'm not sure if that's why.
I'm sure it's part of it, but
part of it, yeah. Man, it went crazy last night. I got a freaking $150 super chat last night.
Wow.
I know. It was in part because I was like, I gave a wrench to Edwin. Then people are in the chat like clamoring for a wrench. A wrench is when you give somebody moderator status in the chat. And as a joke, I was like, I'll sell a wrench for $150, and somebody bought it but told me to give it to somebody else. So.
Oh, that's funny.
That's how Chester Busby now has a wrench. Say hi, Chester. How's Lone Star coming along? I am very nearly done with page 26. Boom, boom, boom.
Hey. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I am the wrench.
At least hold it upside down or something.
Yeah, no, I'm good. There is actually one spoiler on this page, but it's not like one of the major spoilers in the story, so.
Yeah.
It's a minor spoiler. All right, well, I'm actually getting really tired of talking. My jaw's kind of bugging me. Do you want to give... I know you've been doing most of the talking.
I was going to say... I see your ears are bothering you, maybe.
No, I don't know. It's like maybe I've just been doing it too much. It's been bothering me for a few days now.
Yeah.
Too much of this. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you want to pitch the cry one more time?
Sure. Yeah. Go to the cry and support it. It's
no, pitch what it's about. I have it. It's in the description, guys, if you want to check out the actual pages. But give it a good what for, man?
Yeah, if you go and I would say, even if you don't have the money or whatever, go to the Cry's Indiegogo. It says like the Cry Anti-Child Abuse Horror Comic, I think is the title of the way it's listed on there. But I do have half the book up, the 12 pages so far, and we're going to be probably putting up the other ones. He's almost done with the art, and we're almost done with the lettering. So we're probably going to eventually end up putting up the whole thing just so people can see it. Just because.
Wow, you just convinced everyone not to bother paying for it because now they'll see it for free.
But it's I don't know.
Jeff is a good writer, not good at marketing.
No, well, the thing is. Well, but see, yeah, but I don't have the fans that you do, or and I'm not an artist. It's tough to really promote stuff. I am going to be doing live streaming, talking about storytelling and getting into different kinds of formats and all kinds of different things like that, and that I will be sharing with people. I just haven't been feeling that great lately because I'm super sensitive to the weather, and the weather in Florida has been terrible. So yeah, it's been a challenge, and then having a lot of technical difficulties. And
I know, right?
Which is just, I mean, it's just insane. Like I have the exact same headphones you do, but they have been like breaking down left and right. And pretty much anytime we're going to record our Bible Dig podcast, they decide not to work.
Really?
or to constantly log off of the Bluetooth connection.
Well, these are wired.
Oh, those are the wire. Yeah, I probably should just switch to the wire. I mean, I have the wire too, but in the beginning they worked a lot better when I had them connected to Bluetooth.
Zach Hawkins wants to know what your YouTube is. I know you're not on Twitter, right?
Yeah, not very often. I have been more recently. I believe it's like at EARLS.js or something like that on Twitter. But oh boy, it's something like that with this. My show. Let me see if I can, because I've had. I can't. My phone's dead. Of course. But I am going to be doing. It's my little show thing or whatever that I'm going to be doing is going to be called Just Saying, playing off the JS. Thing, and because I'm gonna do several different subjects, and I'm also thinking about, and I meant to talk to you about this, which I'm guessing you probably wouldn't want to do, but doing some commentaries on some of the comics and things, for some of the comics and things I've done, and going through and kind of recording some commentaries so that people can. People who are interested, as we go through the comic or whatever, like talk about like why we made certain decisions and how things were changed, and especially with Pistol Fist, I have a lot of symbolic things thrown in all over the place, and I'd like to be able to kind of share why we did that and why we did different things, because a lot of people miss them, but a lot of people love them when they find them or they get them. And I do like things like that because I just feel like it makes the story deeper and resonate more. So I'm into that stuff. But if you put in JS EARLS, it should come up. Or
you should find it.
Yeah, and I'll try to send a thing to Mike. I actually have I had three different, but they're all linked accounts on YouTube for different time periods when I was doing different things. And one's more personal, have a bunch of stuff because my daughter's a singer and songwriter and stuff. So I had a channel where we were posting a bunch of her stuff. And so there was different reasons. And there's some different music things that I had done that I have on like one channel that I don't necessarily totally want to connect to this that I'm doing all the writing stuff on, but whatever. But yeah, but I will be doing that soon, because I do want to share that stuff, and I have made up a lot of templates and things that play off of for people that know, like Save the Cat and stuff like that. And I kind of did my own spinoffs of those things that are like Save the Graphic Novel, Save the Comic, and stuff like that. And they're kind of like reformatted to be able to do those
Oh, really?
things of like different lengths where you
Oh,
can
that could be
stuff.
immensely helpful to a lot of people.
Yeah. So so I'm gonna put that. Yeah, and then anybody that wants to email me or anything too, just earls.js@gmail.com. And I'll send them to you because I've shared them with a lot of people. I've shared them with like pros that I know and people that are just getting started. That's kind of why I did them. And I'm gonna some of those things are gonna be some of the things I'm gonna be talking about and putting up for people to be able to see and be able to and I'll probably put them on the screen and everything too, so people can see exactly what I'm talking about and how you can transpose those things. And there's some other different formats that I personally really like. It just really is using like not to lock yourself in a box, but to really give you some kind of a foundation. And then it's fine if the story is leading you into other directions. But like everybody knows, like we want the intensity has to go up as the story goes on. I mean, if it goes down, like people are just going to lose interest. And just so many other aspects like that. It's just basic sports storytelling stuff that you need to do. And like you can write a TV show that has 3-hour episodes, but like there's not really any platform or whatever out there that's really made for that. So you're going to have trouble selling it and getting it out there unless you do your own like YouTube show, and 3-hour episodes would be very expensive. But there's a lot of stuff like that. This is why people do use formats and things to tell stories. And it really, the best thing in my opinion is it shows you where your story is weak, because it will let you know, because you have the strong points and we all have the big scenes and we all have the different things that we know, but then it's like, how do you like really connect those threads and make it a story that really kind of makes sense throughout the different elements? Because there's usually a section in the stories that's kind of weak, and it kind of helps you realize what that is and where you kind of need to really figure things out so that it does work with the rest of it. Because you can't just say, well, yeah, because he just does that. Well, why does he do that? It's like what have you shown us that makes that rational, or what are you going to be revealing later that makes that a rational choice for him? Because if it doesn't ring true with us, then
yeah. I have to stop you because you
no problem. Hey, I'm a writer.
You're not
stopping drawing. Stop drawing.
Chester Busby wanted to know who your artist is.
Who? On the Cry, I'm assuming.
I would assume.
Is Pablo Ayala. He is he's in Argentina, and he has mainly done stuff for the different like Spanish markets. We actually, I'm trying to hold off a little bit because we have a couple American publishers that may be interested in the Cry. He does have a Spanish one there that's very interested. And so there's a really good chance that we're going to be doing a Spanish version of the Cry too. But I don't want to, if there's, if some of these publishers don't want us doing that, or if they have their own, releases that they do in different Spanish countries, I don't want to cause problems there. But one way or another, we'll do that. But he's good. And he did, I know he did some art for like a Spanish version of RoboCop that they did some kind of comic thing over there. And he's done some other stuff too. And he was mainly, I don't think he's listed as like the main artist. I think he was the kind of like helper on that, but he did a lot of stuff. He's done quite a few horror comics for different things, but most of the things have been released through Spanish publishers. So you're not going to see too much of his stuff in America or Europe or whatever. But he is very good.
All right, cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that's Jeff J.S. Earls. Look him up because he doesn't know his own links.
Oh.
And the Cry, the link to the Cry is in the description. So please go check that out. Support it if you can and will. It is for a good cause, and it will be a great book. So, with that, I will bid you all a fond adieu. Jeff, say
Yeah.
your goodbyes. Make them quick.
Bye.
All right, guys. I'll see you tonight for Aloha Hour.
See you.